I'm going to record it just in case. Never know what comes out of our topic. Sometimes Roger gets, fired up and drops gold bars.
Drops gold bars.
Here comes Kim.
Here we go. They're all coming in now.
Some people start
As soon as it popped on, it's like the recording is like, boom. There it goes.
It's all right, Kim. I'll yell at you later for being late. All right, Tony, get us going here. What's going on?
What's going on? Oh, I'm just getting ready to go on a couple-week vacation. That's it.
So what are you doing this week to move the business needle forward before you go on vacation?
I'm being negligent.
Doing nothing. You're already on vacation mentally, huh?
Yeah. Yep. I'm being red. I'm red, but that's just the way it is right now.
Okay. Well, Stephen, since you're joining us today, catch us up. What's been going on? It's good to finally see you again.
Yeah. Carolina's working on all sorts of fun stuff. We had a interesting situation where we were closing on a property, wholesaling it, and the buyer ended up not showing up to closing. So trying to find a new buyer. Had an open house today for it.
What?
Yeah.
An open house today?
Yeah, there was an open house this morning. It's over on the East Coast. So
gotcha.
And
interesting day for an open house.
Oh yeah. And then we've got a land deal we're trying to find a buyer for, a builder. And then
cool.
Got our bank account set up for a couple of our LLCs because our rental property is going to be finished. Rehab's going to be finished probably the end of this month, so we'll get a renter in there and start having some cash flow through there. And
cool.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving stuff into the trust and trying to get things done.
Awesome. Chris, what about you?
Man, we got some good stuff going on. We signed on a property today that we desperately needed. We got a client testimonial from it, so we got that golden nugget ready to go.
Nice.
I already sent that off to TRC to put where we want it. We've been scraping and adding and kind of going over stuff on our website. So getting that a little bit modified and fine-tune each time. Yeah, and we're doing, we're still pushing out more content. Yeah, my dad's here. He always sneaks in. There's Sal. There he is. Okay. Yeah, he sneaks into the corner. So yeah, man, stuff's been great actually. So we're pushing it. We're trying to.
Well, I also know you had the organic lead that came through the website.
Yeah.
So kudos and congrats. Was that the one that you just signed?
No, that was not. I wish. Well, we're gonna get one. We will. Yes, we had that organic lead that came through our website and scheduled filled out a form. We called them back. Didn't work out, but it was great that we saw a form there from a seller. We're like, finally, awesome. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Also, JP, thanks to you, we're doing the certified cash sticker. We've got that sent in. Thank you very much for
That's awesome.
For doing all that hard work. We appreciate that. And also the thank you for signing in on HubSpot. We're going to work with TRC support to, connect all that together with our website. So we didn't use exactly what you had, John Paul, but we got the idea. Thank you.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exact. I mean, listen, I got it from somebody else too. So
yeah, that's okay.
Exactly how you do it.
Type it. So good stuff.
Kind of like the old saying in the Marine Corps. I'm sure it's across all services, but there's no thieves in the Marine Corps. Everybody's just trying to acquire their shit back from the original one. It's kind of the same concept, right? There's no new ideas. Everybody's just trying to spin a new idea off of somebody else's stuff all the time.
True.
So cool. Let's see, Sophia.
Hi, sorry. So this week we actually we closed on our rehab, so that's why we're like running around now.
Is that why you got a vanity in your back seat?
Oh my God, you can see it. Yes. starting on that. I've been working on the different pieces of content. It's the more and more I think about it, the more like granular I get, and I figure out who my avatar is. So that's good. It's just a lot of thinking and a lot of like little details, and so that's what's taking so long. But I'm getting there.
Awesome. Well, definitely Roger and I are going to be going pretty deep into some of these pieces to hopefully help clear some of that up this weekend.
Okay.
I should say on Sunday during the workshop. So if you're registered to at least attend it virtually, you'll be getting some good stuff. I did have to cut Roger off a little bit. He wanted to spend like 12 hours on keyword research, and I told him we had to cut that down to like 11 and a half hours, but just kidding. We're not going to spend 11 and a half hours on keyword research. But good to hear that we're getting a little more clarity in there. So Kim, thanks for being late. Glad that you're here.
Hi guys, my dog just decided that he wanted to play with his squeaky toy right now. But, so maybe somebody else.
Oh, what do you got going on besides playing with the dog's squeaky toy?
Well, we've been getting a lot of marketing and stuff in place. Of course, I just recently got a little postcard that we created for one of our touches. After we do the texting, the cold calling, then we hit them with a third touch. So I don't know if you could see it, but it has our little scan me there, and so it's pretty cool. This is for our Tired Landlord campaign that we're running. So it links to our Tired Landlord landing page, and we're going to get a video created for that. So we just uploaded a video for working with us. So we got that going, and a couple
Can
things.
I make a video suggestion for this next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can Gene talk more?
He doesn't want to.
All right, we're going to work on that. Their working with us video was great, except Gene said all of about 12 words in 4 minutes. Kim kind of owned that conversation, but it was good. It was good. I'd like to see Gene talk a little bit more.
Next video. Perfect.
And actually, Chris, was it you that said the QR code thing definitely wasn't dead the other day?
Yeah, that's where they went into the that's where we got one of our leads from. It was great. Yeah, we put on every direct mailer, and we showed in the HubSpot. You can see the graph just steadily over the few months just going up and up and up from the QR code. So works. It's not dead.
Perfect. Marie, you and Liz, I guess, combined. What you guys got going on?
We're going back and forth on Fiverr to get our new cover design for our new ebook. So that's looking pretty. And just finalizing the content on that ebook. So that's really good. What else do we got going on? Oh yeah, we we started a new virtual assistant who's doing some cold calling for us on some of our FSBO leads. So we totally mimicked Kim's form, which Kim, I should actually now send you back the form that I created because I tweaked some things and I was like, yeah, maybe she needs some ideas to update her form.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so it's exciting. So we started using that form, and honestly, the first time Liz actually filled it out before the VA, and I got so excited when I saw the stupid email that came across with like all the information on the house. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's all in one place. I don't have to ask Liz, go to page 75 of your notebook. Anyway, we're old school like that. Liz, anything else? What else are we working on?
I know, and I just that's what I was just checking, but we have a calendar. Somebody booked a call with me on the 16th at 2:30, and I have 3 calls that I got today that I have to follow up on the campaign from the other day. So one guy I talked to, but the other 2 I got to follow up on. So it's good. They're coming in. It's coming in.
Love it.
You know. So
Cool.
Yeah, we're starting to roll.
Let's see, Lorraine, are you able to talk? Or are you in the middle of a something else? Guess she can't talk. Looks like Yvonne's connecting to audio. And now we just lost Yvonne. Okay. Cool. Well, it sounds like some of you guys have got some cool things going. Others of you are, mentally on vacation prior to being on vacation. That's always good too. Just as long as you're not mentally on before and after, Tony. Got to come off vacation ready to go. So, but I wanted to kind of start a conversation that's going to tie into this coming Sunday. And I'm going to kind of go talk a little high level here for a second. And then I'm going to kind of translate that. Roger's going to actually translate. I'm going to kick it over to him to let him kind of translate that into kind of the website side of things. And this topic or this discussion is stemming from, as I've been planning for this weekend, a theme keeps coming back to mind. And I think I've talked with you guys about this before. I know I've talked on podcast and other stuff. And that is why most marketing fails to generate leads, and why I really, really see it in the real estate space. How many of you guys have ever kind of had that feeling? You put out some marketing, whatever it might have been, bunch of bandit signs, direct mail campaigns, you do a bunch of cold calls, text campaigns, whatever, and it just feels like crickets, right? It may not be how it is today for some of you, but at some point, I bet we've all experienced that, right? We put we're so excited about it. We put it all out there. And it's like we went yelling into a storm sewer. Nobody was around, couldn't hear us. And at the end of the day, it comes down to a handful of items on why marketing, advertising, why the message, why it fails. Number one is it comes down to the person you're talking to has a couple things going on in their mind. And I know I've talked about this in the past. I want to see if you guys remember any of this first. Who can tell me, or who kind of remembers, what are the two things going on in the minds of somebody at any time when they're looking at advertising, looking at marketing collateral? I'll give you this example. Deanna and I are in the process. We need a new HVAC system at our house. AC systems crap. We're noticing it more and more as we're having these extended 100+ days here. So we're in the market for a new HVAC company, new HVAC product, right? There's two things going through Deanna and I's mind every time we start looking at it. Who could tell me what you think, or what do you remember me saying in the past that's happening in their mind?
Price and value.
Great. I'd say price, that you want a good price and you want a good company that's going to be reliable and stay reliable.
Okay. What else we think?
You might want see if there's a technologically superior way to do it.
Okay. Anybody else got any thoughts?
Tech.
Is this going to meet my needs?
Going to meet my needs. Okay. Any other guesses? Okay. Very simply, prospects have two things going on in their mind. There's two. I like to kind of refer to it as two conversations happening in the brain during this process. Number one is, I have a problem and I need to find a solution. That's going on in our brain right now. We have a problem. The house is hot as hell. The AC system can't keep up. About halfway through the day, it wears itself out and runs down. And it's hot in the house and uncomfortable. There's the problem. The other thing going through our mind is, I need a solution, but I don't know how to solve it. I don't know how to put an HVAC system in. I don't know how to do the install. I don't know how to get it and do it. It's not something I'm skilled in doing, right? So I need this solution. I need somebody to come and fix this because I don't know how to do it. Now, through those two conversations, a lot of what you guys just said come true. Tony, is there a more sophisticated, right? Has technology advanced? Is there a better system out there than the current style, right? And I've actually come to find out there actually is. There's systems that work really, really well with our solar system versus going more natural gas. Price obviously is a piece of it. It creeps in. Value, trustworthiness of the competition or the competitors that are, trying to compete for our business. All of these things come in. But at the end of the day, the big thing in my brain around this topic, when we first started to explore and need this, was the problem and a solution that needs to happen. The problem was HVA system doesn't work. Solution is I need somebody to come and do it because I can't do it. Now it starts opening the questions. Who, what, where, how much, what's the value, right? What's the best system versus, God, there's all kind of new HVA systems that I've never even heard of over the years that have popped out. So all of these things start to come into the mind. Well, why does most marketing fail? It starts with it doesn't speak to the problem and the solution. What do you think the message from every single HVAC company that I've looked at is pretty consistently saying? What are they all saying, you think? I almost give it away right there.
We have an HVAC system.
We've got systems. What else are they saying?
We want to sell it to you.
Think about it. What are they all claiming?
They're the best. They're the cheapest. They're the most efficient. They're the best, they'll come in the most timely manner.
What else are they all claiming they'll do? I don't know who that was, but it was cutting off. They're all claiming to do things like, oh, we'll price match. We'll beat anybody else's price. We've got the best price. We've got the best system. We only install quality systems. We'll service your system after we put it in. What's some of the other messaging I've heard like crazy? Something like, we'll come and look at it for free. What, you think I'm going to pay you to come look at it and give me a price? We'll clean after we're done. We take care of it. We pay attention during our installs. What's the problem with this type of messaging? What is it?
It doesn't address the pain.
It doesn't speak to my pain. My pain is what?
You're hot.
I'm effing hot, right? 8:30, 9 o'clock last night. I'm laying on the couch with 3 fans blowing on maybe and the windows open, trying to stay cool because our AC system shot itself yesterday and couldn't run anymore. It needed to be off for a few hours. It was still 90 something degrees outside. I'm laying there hot, and I got an HVAC company coming to my door this morning, giving me a bunch of platitude BS. I go on their websites, and what is it? A bunch of just BS talk. It's all the same, right? I reach out to them to get a quote, and I get the same answer. I want to come to your house and sell you. Right? They all say, I got to come look at it. I'm sending them messages. I want a 16 SEER, 100,000 BTU, 85 or 90% efficiency furnace, full system, ductwork. House is 2,000 square feet, 11 vents. Giving you all the details. And I get, we want to come to you. I need to come and look at it. No, you want to be in my face and try to what? Sell me. I send them all kind of information through Yelp, and then they give me the answer. Call me. Call me. Do you see how it pushes me away or kind of puts a defense up? And when I'm left with that same messaging across the board of 20 different HVAC companies, what's the only thing I have to decipher who's going to get the job now? Who can tell me the one factor that's going to be different?
They're going to call you and offer you a fast install.
No, there's one thing that all of them are going to be different on that I'm going to have to use because I have nothing else to differentiate any of them. Price. So why the second reason our marketing fails? We leave it up to price to determine whether we get the business or not. Sound familiar in real estate? It ends up coming down to what? Most of the time. Not everybody on here. Some of you guys are doing pretty good about separating yourselves here. But at the end of the day, what's normally the reason why a seller chooses to work with you versus somebody else? Say that, Marie?
They like you.
Nope, that's what we want it to be. But what does it most likely end up being?
Oh, they got a better offer somewhere else.
The
A better
offer.
price.
The offer. Because in their mind, they got left with nothing but price as the differentiator. So why does most marketing fail? It doesn't separate us from everybody else. Our messaging sounds the same as what every other person in my industry is basically saying. Now, do we have to say a lot of the same stuff in some capacity, right? Roger will put the argument up that, yes, you've got to use those same keywords. It's got to be in there. So am I saying everything has to be completely different? No. Because we do know that there's certain things that people are searching for digitally, hence why we use those terms and phrases and statements to show up in the search. But once I've got them, do I need to completely stay stuck to that same old message? I'll buy. What's the go-to messaging every real estate investor throws out there? Chris, give me one of them. What's the same? You hear it all the time from, give me one thing real estate investors always say.
Buy a house for cash.
Buy it for cash. JP, what's something else everybody says?
No repairs.
Steven.
There's all sorts of them, but
Give me one.
How about okay. I'm having a mind blank. No repairs. Your timeline. That's the other one.
Timeline. There you go.
Yeah.
Tony, what else?
I'm going to say close fast.
Kim, what's another one?
Tony took the one I had.
Marie, give me another one. As is condition, any situation.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody's saying, and I get it. At the end of the day, that is what we do. But do you see, it's like the HVAC company saying, well, we install HVAC systems. Well, we have the best one. Well, we are all Lennox dealers. Well, we're all X dealers over here. We'll do a free estimate. We'll come to you. We'll take this evaluation. We'll haul out. That was the other one. Everybody was like, yeah, but we haul out your old system. I expect you to. I literally had a company go, well, we'll come, but we're going to charge you $85 to come and take a look at it and give you a quote. It was like, excuse me? Thank you for being different, but thank you for also telling me why I'm not going to work with you. I expect the free quote. So yes, we need some of these things, but how can we use that to get in front of, right? Think search terms. But now once I have somebody's attention, how is my messaging or how is my kind of marketing approach different? How can I separate myself from everybody else? That's the key. One way that we do it, and then I'm going to get ready to hand it over to Roger to kind of add on this here for a second. One way that we do it, Roger and I have fought this for a long time. He and I think, have kind of fought back and forth on this for quite some time, and that is the niche down. The niche that you're focused on. Is being a real estate investor very broad, just like being a digital marketing agency very broad? How many different industries are out there in business? Way more than any of us can count, right? So for Roger and I to run around and say Top Results Consulting is a digital marketing agency, You see how that's a very broad stroke? Well, who do you work with? What kind of businesses do you work with? What type of levels do you work with? What services does this agency have? Just like running around saying, well, I'm a real estate investor. What do you mean you're a real estate investor? Well, I'm a doctor. Are you? What do you focus on? You focus on pediatrics? You focus on heart? Are you a surgeon? Are you general practitioner? Right? You see how there's differences. I'm an attorney. What type of attorney are you? What law do you focus on? Where's your expertise? One way we separate ourselves is by niching down. Roger and I are in this transition right now. Now that Top Results has got a very solid foundation, and we've really made a kind of a footprint for ourselves in the industry as an agency. We're now starting to really dial deep into being the go-to agency for real estate professionals, specializing at an agency level for real estate professionals. Do you see how now the messaging that we'll be able to put out could be even more unique? Because who are we talking to? Real estate professionals, not just any business. So one way that we can start to separate ourselves is by really niching down. And I know we've talked about this quite a bit, and we're going to get deep into this come Sunday. We're going to start talking a little bit more on how, why, how do we leverage some of the key phrases? How do we do the research around it to bring this to a lower level? How do we translate it into kind of an omnipresence kind of a experience, right? So that when they're on a website or social media or anywhere, they're starting to get this feel. The other way that we can really start to separate ourselves down, not just from a niche standpoint, was really dialing in exactly what your services are. What are the services that you do? As a real estate investor, that can be very broad. There's a lot that you can do. So before I kick it over to Roger, any thoughts on that? Any questions? Anything at all? I'd like to know what note is being passed back and forth from Marie to Liz in class.
I just said the same thing. I said, what are y'all chuckling about? I want to know.
Yeah, I haven't seen any chats, but I see these two like little schoolgirls throwing notes back and forth. So Marie, what's going on?
You got to unmute.
I don't know why this was so funny to me, but we are texting. So we're like school children and sending each other stupid emojis. But anyway, so I wrote to Liz that our niche should be, we buy rentals from retiring landlords, like just that simple. But she sent me back an emoji with like the like star eyes, you know, and then I sent her back the stupid emoji with the guy with the like
tongue,
money, like the money tongue or whatever. So the two of us were just giggling at each other. I don't know.
Got you.
We're just children.
Oh,
So before I kick it to Roger to add on this, go ahead, JP. Sorry.
No, I just said that wasn't funny at all. I'm glad you guys didn't include me on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We're just, well,
I'm joking.
We're next to each other, we just have to be able to communicate. So I love it. I mean, we're already niched down, but just like what Shawn's saying right there, it's just focusing. And I just had this conversation with a gal that might do some work with us. And it was like, we're going to have a box and people are going to fit in there. If they don't, then there's somebody else that they can work with. But this is the type of person we're going to work with. And we're focusing in on that. And these are the programs we're going to offer you. And it's one of three. And if it's something else you want, then there might be somebody else better to serve you out there, because we're not going to change our way to fit you. This is what we're offering in our program.
Yeah, I like that approach. I think we're taking a similar approach with our message and our marketing. However, if we get other types of leads that come in, maybe they don't go through that funnel, but we've built another funnel where we can still capitalize, not just turning them away completely, but maybe now we can turn it into a wholesale or something like that. So,
right. I mean, not just completely, but if they want another kind of offering that we don't do and we're not familiar with, It might not be, it's not in our wheelhouse. And by the time we go learn it and then offer it to them, it might not be the best fit for each other, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want a new heater in Arizona, but I need a new air conditioner. So, but it's the same system. You know what I mean?
Ask Roger about the whole, I don't want that type of business and turning it away. There was a run there late 2020 where we were getting e-com people reaching out to us left and right. And we made a decision. Could we do e-com? Absolutely. Do we know how to build those websites? 100%. Is there ways that we could do it and really succeed on it? I bet we could. But at the end of the day, Roger was like, nope, I don't want the headache, nor does the team want the headache. So we started turning away anything that was e-com related.
Yeah.
And it didn't hurt us.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Well, and I
so-
like it. Yeah, go ahead, Marie.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, because like some of the FISBO leads that we're marketing to right now, you know, some of them messaged us back and they're, you know, looking for above, you know, crazy pricing that we're like, oh, this is definitely a retail lead. So I already plugged in Mia, and I can say this now because she's actually on one of your calls, Shawn.
I
So
saw her
I already
join.
plugged in Mia, and I was like, Mia, listen, if I get like retail leads, I'm just going to send them your way. And if you can do something with them, you can do something with them. We can talk about referral fees later. But for now, I'm not going to do anything with that lead anyway. We got to a point where we had a conversation, but there was nothing left for us to do. So
Yeah.
turn them over to Mia. So yeah, JP, we're not like turning people away, but we are trying to figure out where else they should go if they don't fit into that box.
Anybody else? Thoughts, comments, questions before I kick it to Roger?
I have a quick thought. This fits right into what Chris and I were talking about. We just finished our summer direct mail /text campaign and didn't get very good response, even though we went 6 to 8 letters, I guess, and texts. And then now you came up with this problem solution, and I banging my head against the wall saying, well, I should know better being in that business. So it's each of the messages has to have a problem and a solution and how you're going to address it. And we used to call that the hot button. What is the hot button for the customer? So the problem is you can't always talk to everybody to question them to find out everything, because they're going to look at your text. You're going to look at your text and your direct mail to see if they have a great HVAC system like you're looking for, Shawn. So we're sitting here saying, okay, we've got 4 or 5 problems / solutions for probate, divorce, for sale by owner. Now the question is going to be, and hopefully maybe not today, but Sunday, do we put all those on one letter? Because we're going to have to revise it. But do we pick one problem, one solution, then another one, and then another one?
That's a great question. And it's going to tie, I think, to some stuff Roger will talk about right now, but it's definitely going to tie to Sunday. So to give you guys an idea, I'm not going to give you the whole kind of breakdown of the workshop, but Sunday morning, when I kick off, the very first presentation that I'm going to do is going to be taking this concept a little bit deeper. It's one of the benefits of being a client of ours and having this call today is you got a little head start into this to be able to think a little bit this week. But I'm going to kind of take it and dissect it a little bit deeper. And Sal, I've got a couple ideas that I think could really help on that front. On it, and I've got some things I'm going to throw out to you guys that is going to be unique. It's going to be different than the way I'll be as bold as saying this. The way that I'm going to open that segment up on Sunday, it's going to make you think that everything that you've ever been taught, ever been told, ever learned about marketing your real estate business was wrong. And it's going to shake it up a little bit, right? But it's going to shake it up in a positive way. So for those that are going to be there live in the room, we're going to actually have some time to work on it. Those that are on Zoom, it's going to be on to you guys to make sure you're paying attention, but not getting distracted with wanting to go and work right away on it, but making sure that you're tuned in to that. Okay. So Roger, I'm going to kick it over to you and just kind of let you expand a little bit more on some of the stuff I threw out there.
Yeah, there's actually some really good comments, conversations happening right there. And I think the first thing I want to kind of throw out there is evolution of your marketing, right? It's like a lot of us are taught a certain way, and we think that's going to be it next year, the year after that, and it's not, guys. It's that's why these type of groups, these type of organizations, like that's what Shawn and I want to do, right? And there's a lot of them out there. I mean, if things aren't changing, your tools aren't changing, your methods aren't changing, then you're doing it wrong, because technology is just moving so fast. I mean, that's what we do. Every day I'm seeing this stuff, and you have to kind of keep up, right? So that's great that you said that, Shawn, in regards to like what we're going to be talking about. Obviously, we know kind of the program for Sunday, and you're going to think, hey, everything you've been taught is wrong. It was not wrong when you were taught. It's just things are evolving, right? And you got to keep up with what's happening today. So that way you can make adjustments and pivot based on what you have. And the good thing about it is if you've done it right, you have a really strong foundation. That's what I speak to a lot when it comes to your online presence, is having that foundation. That's why I spend a lot of time just kind of reiterating, because I know those kind of foundational pieces are the ones that are still going to work no matter what changes in the advanced methods, right? So that was great there. The other good conversation that came out right now that was being had was in regards to niching down. Obviously, Shawn and I had our back and forth with something like that, and it was a healthy conversation between business partners on what the best path should be, or whatnot. But at the end of the day, there isn't a wrong answer, right? When we talk about niching down, what does that even mean? It all comes down to what your focus is, and our focus, once we broke it all down, was, all right, what's our team look like? How do we want to scale, and what are our goals? And that's what it came down to. We wanted to really niche down, and then what we looked at our expertise, right? It's like we talked about the EAT acronym. We looked at our expertise and authority in the space, and like, it's a no-brainer. We can obviously add a lot of value, right? We had that conversation internally, and that's some of the stuff that you guys should be having as well. Whether you're a one man, one woman show, or you have partners, right? These are the conversations that should be had. That way you guys have a goal. Once again, I talk about the race. You're in the race, and you know where the finish line is, so you can shoot towards that. But I like the niching down conversation, because that kind of led to something that's important as well. Once you niche down, what do? Shawn talked about the times when we started turning down business, literally saying no, right? In a polite manner. But we were saying no to some e-commerce projects that we're looking at our team, and we just couldn't, we could probably add more value to other projects, not necessarily those particular projects at the time. And that's where we went, and it worked out really well. But one of the things that I look at the real estate space, and I see all of you guys have this. You guys have very, very strong communities and connections. So I know Liz Marie, you guys are already doing it, and Mia, I'm so happy that you're on this call, because that's exactly the example, right? Liz and Marie have a game plan, they have a niche, they're really working towards it, but they're an authority in the space. They're going to continue to get leads from different places, right? And for Liz and Marie, they should continue building those relationships with people and kind of like utilizing them, because now you have somewhere to pretty much offload those leads and potentially build an affiliate partnership, type relationship. And that's where I kind of bring it back to a lot of the stuff that I talk about with your SEO, your online presence, and your content, is that you shouldn't stop talking about those things that you niche down, but doesn't mean you have to stop talking about those other pieces that are in your industry. It is 100%. Actually, I would encourage it that you guys mention those things. You should even start, like, I know Liz and Marie, how one of their big competitions is the iBuyers, right? They have one blog talking about the iBuyers, if I'm not mistaken, the comparison, the good, the bad, the ugly about it. But I believe, that is actually some of the companies that a lot of people are looking for, because of the reputation they've built in some cases, right? The positive, right? So you need to continue finding opportunities to grab those people that are using the iBuyers, right? And be able to kind of figure out how you can add value to those guys. Now, I'm not saying go partner with deny buyers unless that makes sense to you guys. But other things, for example, if you don't focus on fire damage homes, right? It's just too much, right? You focus strictly on, foreclosure or whatnot. Well, dude, JP's here. I know that JP is an expert in that. So you can do a deal with him and flow those leads that way. Once again, the content becomes very, very important in kind of doing that. Now, I'm going to go back to the A, B, and C's of what we do in building out this content. But one of the things that I'm seeing, and I'm going to use Liz and Marie because I was actually just looking at your guys' website, doing some analysis because I was kind of working on my presentation for Sunday. And I was looking at your website. And one of the things is you guys are building a lot of content, all of you guys, right? You're building content. And if you're not doing it, you're thinking about doing it because you're on these calls. So you're looking at what you're going to do, what you're going to put out there. And that essentially what we call in SEO is called on-page SEO, right? You're doing stuff that's on the website. I know Chris and Sal, you guys are doing a lot of on-page SEO right now. I don't know much about your off-page, right? What you're doing. I know you guys are doing some stuff, but I know a lot of the effort, videos, you're embedding, you're creating content, that's all on page. But to a certain point, guys, there is a limit or a wall that you hit in SEO where it doesn't matter how much content, good content, which is I preach nonstop, that you have really good, strong content, SEO optimized keywords and everything. But to a certain point, you're going to run into an issue where it won't, your competition is doing the same thing, right? You're kind of stuck. So you start kind of asking that questions like, well, now what? I did everything Shawn and Roger asked me to. I have really good content. Everything's going very well, but you might run into the issue that Liz and Marie are in right now, which I'm going to use as an example. Liz and Marie is like, you guys are awesome. You guys are doing awesome. You have good content on your website. You have lead magnets. You're following the game, pretty much the playbook, right? You guys step by step. But I'm looking at it, it's like I'm looking at your rankings. I'm like, ooh, I'm really happy where you're at. And it took me like 20 minutes to really kind of look at everything and be like, all right, I know exactly what I'm going to recommend to these ladies, right? It's like, what's next? Because you could keep going and pounding the pavement on what you're doing with content, but your next step in reality is start building that off page. So I don't talk too much about that because that's when we start getting into a lot of the advanced stuff. I won't get too deep onto this, but I am going to kind of hit on a couple things, ideas that we'll get deeper on Sunday. But
hey, Roger,
go ahead.
Roger,
yes, sir.
For someone naive like me, when you say off page, can you just describe that?
Exactly. That is the list I'm about to kind of go through, Sal. So great question on that. So before I get to that on page, Sal, did that make sense? It's all the content, everything that's on the website, right? So now we're going to get into that off page. That's where it gets confusing for some people. What does that even mean? What am I supposed to be doing? So that right there is when you're getting other websites, other people off of your website, right? You're not creating it. It's something that's being created somewhere else that is mentioning you, whether they're just citing you, right? Mentioning your business name, what you do, or they're actually mentioning you and actually having a hyperlink back to your website. And there's multiple ways to go about it. And for the reason I use Liz and Marie is because I'm really happy with their online presence. They're on page. That is very strong. But I saw pretty much, and the reason I used them as an example is because I saw their number, their 30 score kind of hit a little bit of a wall. And I'm like, it's been a while. It's been a couple months, right? And I want to see that move. And I'm like, okay, they're at the position where I need to start guiding them to do some off page, because that's what's going to start moving the needle a little more. You guys have done a great job putting the content. Now, off page, Sal, we're going to go down to the first one. Who do we have around here? Kim just did one of these. And this is a great one to get a nice injection of off-page power, right? It's called a PR, press release, okay? So a press release is us or anybody, if you use somewhere else, we do them. It's $120. We run a press release. We write a generalized. That's exactly what we did for Kim. Kim said, hey, I want to push my keywords for my Chicago page, my Chicago City page, right? I have it on there, everything's good, but I want, I want to focus on that. So what we did a generalized PR saying that we help people that are trying to sell their house for cash, in Chicago. And I didn't just go after one keyword. I think it was like 5 different keywords that I focused on. and we did a 500-word press release. We syndicated that out, and roughly about 250, and Kim, that usually doesn't happen, but we got about 250 different publications or news websites, journal websites to actually publish that article, right? Those are all, Sal, to your question, those are all mentions to her website. So she just got a nice injection of some backlinks over to her site. So she just did a great job. Now, those press releases, every single off-page method has a strength, right? So a PR is great, but it is one piece of content being syndicated through hundreds of websites, right? So that I call probably a medium kind of like power type backlink. Now, there are some that we do as well, guest blogs, when you actually go and look for people talking about real estate or anything like that. And they actually write an article, or you provide them an article that you wrote as a guest blogger on their website, and they allow you to put a link back to yours. Those tend to carry more weight just because it's an independent, right? So that's another way that you can do off page. And then this next one, I love this next one because it's very, very simple. All of you guys can do this, and more. These probably 2-3 years ago didn't, they were still strong, but not as strong as I'm seeing now, are called local citations. So these local citations are basically your local directories, guys, and there are hundreds of them. You just got to do a little bit of research, and if you want to go through them, and pretty much it's we call it a structured citation, because you go get a profile filled out like you do on Facebook, and you just fill it out, and they allow you to put obviously your name, your company name, your email address, your link to your website. So it covers everything that's important, and then that link obviously links back, and those are free. There's a ton of them. They want you to put profiles on their websites, right? So if
are those citywide or countywide or statewide, or is it
all of the above? All of the above. Now, even nationwide, Sal. Now, even within that category, they hold their own weight. The local ones carry more weight for your local pretty much rankings than anything else. But I am 100% okay. We do them for our clients, for our more advanced clients. We do a ton of nationwide directories for them, and they work great, right? But obviously the local ones work a lot better. So those citations are great for you guys. So having all that kind of that game plan with your off, and I just gave you some easy ones, right? The PRs, the local citations, the guest blogging, those are kind of quick ones that we it's nothing new to a lot of you guys that have been on these calls, but those right there work very, very well. And that can actually move the needle for someone like Liz and Marie, because where you should start is your on page. You should focus on your on page a lot, like the ladies have right here. They focused 100%. They went basically content, blogs, lead magnets. That thing is a monster. I mean, it's super strong. If someone lands on it, or if they pretty much push traffic there, they're going to convert, right? But organically, they're not getting a lot of action. Why? Because we haven't focused on the off page, because they are in a competitive market. Now, I move over to someone like JP, and I point this way, but he's over here on my screen. But someone like JP, he spent, I don't know, JP, I don't know how long you had that other website before you came over to us. Do you have a number for me?
What number are you looking for?
How many years did you have your other website?
About 3.5, 4 years.
3.5, 4 years. So 3.5, 4 years, he was doing great, right? And then he came over to us. We tweaked a little bit in regards to it was more architecture. Let's kind of, we fixed a couple things, and we had that conversation with him. It took about 6 months or so to get him dialed in. But the difference between JP and Liz and Marie, JP came to us with a nice authority score, because he spent 3 years, even though this architecture wasn't great, he still did a lot of these citations. He did a lot of the off page, and it just brought his authority score up. So when we made our tweaks, he actually jumped up quite a bit. Actually, he jumped. Now the traffic and all that stuff wasn't great at the beginning, but now JP can pretty much, we chat all the time, and he's like, oh, I got another lead. Hey, I got another. Now it's become basically that heavy flywheel that took forever, right, JP? It's like, when the heck is this going to produce for me? But once that flywheel gets going, it gets easier and easier, where you just kind of pop in some content, you have the authority, and Google will rank it right away. That's what happened to us in Florida with JP. Took us just a short amount of time, and we already rank it. Not because we were brand new, it's because JP worked really, really hard, both on this on page, then he did his off page. And then when we went into another market, it was really easy. For those of you, you're not interested in going into another market, it's your blog post or another city within your niche, right? So it's really, really important to really focus on your on page if you haven't. But if you have, I bet Liz, Marie, you guys were probably, all right, I want to come Sunday because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm doing everything you guys are saying, but yet, you know, the needle's not moving. That's me looking at your website. That's basically the questions. And that's why I want to kind of give some good examples. Perfect. You guys are the perfect example. You've done everything correct. And don't think you lost time. That's how long it took to get to that point. Now you're ready for that next level, right? So hopefully that worked out. I'm going to stop there because that was a lot of information to see if there's any questions here.
I have a question about the local citations, because I've been looking for them and I found like the bigger ones like Bing and Yelp, but you say there's hundreds. Where's the best place to find all of these?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you number one. If you don't want to mess with them, you can call us. We'll do it for you, because I mean, it's a big list, right? But
offer.
Yeah, but you can just you can just go on Google and say, hey, local citations for real estate. Just put that. That's it, and you'll get a lot of different blogs. Great, right? Smart. You're going to read a blog, and they're going to have some examples, and that's going to be your starting point. You can even put local citations for real estate in, right? And then your local market, whatever market you're in, and then you'll start getting some examples if there's bloggers that created it. But in most cases, these lists are going to be probably a blogger that put something together, right? You know, put a nice pack together, and they'll give you a list of things that you can work off of. And that's what we've compiled over the years. We have a list, not because we know, it's like we got it from here, we got it from there. We found some, there was a blogger that we know that got some, and we ended up with a monster list. So when we do campaigns for our accelerator level clients, then we just hit them. We in our packages, like, hey, we'll do 20 or 30, right? And we already have a list. We don't go looking for them. We already have them. And if it happens that, you know, because we already have them in a lot of local markets as well, we just get them from there. But for you guys are DIY, you're trying to do it yourself, or some of you guys are, then that's how you would do it. You do a quick search for local citations, be specific for real estate, that's it, and then you should get a list of some.
And what if we don't want to do it ourselves?
Then you can definitely set up a call with us, because what we want to do is kind of do an analysis of your site, make sure, see if that is the right strategy at this point, right? So we want to make sure that that's where you're at. For example, Liz and Marie, they're ready. Now, Yvonne, we might look at your site and say, you know, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars to get citations, but there's no real content, right, on your site. I don't know yet, right? It's like there's no real content.
Still new, so
yeah,
I probably to go.
Probably a little more content, because what citations do, the reason we're doing those off-page methods is to drive more traffic. So if you before you start driving traffic, before you add value on the website, that traffic will bounce, right? Because if you do drive quality traffic, then there's not going to be any value. So we have to analyze the website, make sure it's ready for it, right? So there is kind of an evolution or a journey to get to that step. But great question, though. That's
on that note. I'm going to share something here. Okay, let me move this back where I can see it. I'm glad you brought that up, Roger. The whole concept of let me move you guys back over here where I can see you guys as well. The whole concept of you need information, right? Traffic is great, but if I joke about it all the time, your website's your brick and mortar store. And great, you got people coming in your store, but you got nothing on your shelves, and it's dead in there and it's empty, and you got no music playing. How long are they going to really stay inside the store before they walk out and go to the next one, right? We need them on there. So the journey of the buyer, right? People are in one of two categories. They're either in the future buyer category, as we see right here, or they're in the ready buyer state that we see over here. All that marketing that we just talked about, the on-page kind of typical clickbaity, SEO focused content, fast cash, sell your house today, close on your timeline, right? Quick offer, all that kind of stuff. Who's that targeting? Future buyers or ready buyers? You guys tell me.
Ready buyers.
Ready buyers. Less than 1 to 3% of people are in that category. Less than 1
Sean,
to 3%.
are you writing on the screen? I don't think it's showing up.
It's
Are you
not-
are you doodling?
Yeah, it's showing up on my end.
Oh, I don't see it. It must be just me.
It's not on mine either.
I don't see it either.
We see
Screen
the little,
sharing
you
has
see the little
paused.
guys.
Why
the
did it
little-
pause? Let's try it again. Share again. Not now. Do you guys see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So, like I said, 1 to 3% of people fall in that ready buyer category. Okay. Which means we've got 97 to 99% of people over here in the future buyer state. Most of the traffic that we're trying to drive to our website is the ready buyers. We'd love for them to get, right, Chris, that person got to your website, they scanned something, they landed, they fill out a form, they want to talk to you. That is a ready buyer. That's like the perfect person for us, right? We would love to have the majority of our traffic be there. However, what's reality? What's the majority of the traffic on our website? They're future buyers. They're this 97 to 99% of people doing searches, getting somewhere. Yvonne, you're going to go do a search for local citations. You're going to find a bunch of different articles. You're going to click on them. You're going to be on somebody's website and you're going to start reading. And some of them you're going to stay on longer than the others. And maybe one of them you move through. I don't know. Maybe one of them has a package that they sell these citations for you to be able to download the list or something like that. And eventually maybe you'll purchase one. But when you got there, you're a future buyer. You're not ready to make a decision. Another way to kind of decide or kind of classify the ready buyer, this person right here, they are doing, this is vendor selection. They know they want to sell their house. They're ready for a fast cash offer. They want to get this thing happening. They're ready for you. That's why they filled out Anchor's Homes form or called Anchored Homes. That's why they went to Ohana Legacy, filled out the form, right? They are ready for the offer. Majority of people are not. You guys tell me, what do you think gets somebody from this state to this state? What moves them along? Stephen?
Value. You're providing value to them, giving them information that they are looking for.
There it is. Say that word again.
Information.
Information. Information is what moves somebody from future to ready. Mia, you're one of what, 5 million real estate agents in the world? What makes somebody choose you over somebody else? It's information. What makes them decide that they're ready to choose you? It's information, right? Something you've said to them.
Come this way.
A conversation you've had with them. And Sophia, I'm going to mute you there. Maybe it's something they read on your website. Maybe it's something that they saw somewhere else. Maybe it's a present. You went to their house and talked to them, right? Because you finally got to that stage in the process. It's all the same. Information is what moves somebody through. Why am I going to eventually choose the HVAC company that we're going to choose? Because some form of information that I get from somebody at some point out of this process will lead me to it. So what Roger's talking about on page and off page it's information. Off page job is to drive them where? What's the job of our off page SEO?
To send them to our page.
To send them on our website, right? So our off page information is gearing them up to get them on page, which means our on page information pushes them closer to being ready. The problem with driving too much traffic too quick is we don't have enough what out there yet. Information. So what in the space of digital marketing, in the space of what Roger's talking about, what is the information that we need to be putting out there? What is information types?
Answers to their problems.
Go back to the two
You were
conversations.
talking about,
Go ahead,
yeah,
JP.
you were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, like the different types of blogs, like the, 5 Mythbusters, the testimonials, the problem solution, call to action type blogs.
Go back to the conversation that's going on in their brain. They've got a problem and they're looking for a solution. Or there's a result is the other side of it, right? I don't want to be hot anymore. I want to be cool and comfortable in my house. And I don't have that right now. So what's the result I want that I'm not getting? Or what's the problem that I have that I'm looking for the solution for? What's the result I want? I want Mia to sell my house and get me really good money for it. Right? What's the problem that I'm having? I need to sell my house and get the hell out of here. This right here, this diagram, if you guys let this kind of sink in, I can take it a little deeper and I will on Sunday. But there's like 3 stages along this journey here. But if you can ingrain this in and understand that the majority of your marketing is actually your focus should be right here. The majority of your marketing should be on your future buyers and giving them what they need to know, hear, learn, experience to get them here. Because you really don't have to focus too much on these people. They're ready. They're in a vendor selection. If you're doing the on-page SEO, if you're doing the right stuff to show up, they're going to find you anyway. And they're ready to go. They don't care about the information. They're the ones that are calling every real estate agent or real estate investor in the market to see who's got what now, who can help me. Give me the offers, give me the offers, give me the offers, right? I'm going to stop sharing so I can actually see everybody again. So Sunday, we'll take that a little deeper in there. But Roger, you kind of brought it up at the perfect point that we don't want too much traffic until we have the information. We got to get the information on there. But we also have to understand we're going to put some time into putting some information out there, and there's not going to be a lot of what around it out of the gate.
Content.
Traffic. We're going to put the content out there.
Yeah, you got to put the content there, but
there's not going to be a lot of traffic around it just yet. That's okay. We've got to stock the store. We've got to stock the shelves. So when we turn the traffic on, they've got something to come in, take a look at, and have.
So along those lines, there's some podcasts or video things that we've done more recently. I set up a page the other day so that I could drive the traffic from that video thing over to this page, and it's just basically a one-off page. I don't remember what they're called, landing page or. So it sounds like if I want to do more of that stuff, I need to create more content around that. Like the target would be other real estate investors. Hey, JV with us, type of thing. So I need to do stuff up blogs around that and everything that we do for customers, but just for real estate people.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're bringing up some of these different modalities, right? Different marketing modalities. There's another spot Sunday afternoon that I'm gonna talk kind of after Roger goes through a number of elements. How do we blend? How do we leverage? How do we use some of the different modalities? And where does it fit in this journey as a form of information? And how do we maximize it? Because how do we become the best known real estate professional in our marketplace? We're everywhere. We've got to be everywhere. But do all of us have the time to sit down and be unique everywhere? No. So we need to understand, how do we take core messages, core content topics, core information that needs to get out there, and how do we leverage digital technology to our benefit to be able to go at scale, right? Go at a very large level, be everywhere, and help stir this information train / traffic train, so that no matter where anybody in your marketplace is looking, they're finding you and your message, which automatically starts to make you look different, because your competition is not doing this. I can promise you. Sound good? Anything you want to add, Roger?
Two things I'll leave the group with. Number one, I like the kind of like the example of the JV content, right? You're looking, it's like, hey, how we can, should I create more pieces of content around there? When you're thinking about creating those, don't create them in the way of me, right? And what I mean by that, it's like, hey, we can JV with this, and this is our process, how we do it. The way you actually create that piece of content is actually, you're going to give the ultimate guide on what JV is and how it works. And at the very end, you pitch it that if they want to JV with you, you want to come off like you're a teacher. You're teaching someone in general how to do something. And those are the blogs, the how-tos, right? They rank better. People they accept that a little better. And then you position yourself as the expert, as a teacher, and they want to work with the teacher, right? So that's when you look at those things. That's how I would position them. And then the other thing that came to mind as we're going through this, we're looking for opportunities for content and build, that authority with our websites. And I know I'm working with one real estate agent right now in badges. Badges are awesome. I didn't realize how many of them there were out there. Look for them. Look for niches. This particular person is getting a badge for working with the elderly, and his niche is in a city that's the niche, and having that badge on their site is major. And he can create multiple pieces of content writing about how he's a certified, of this. I know JP put it out there. He's a certified home buyer, right? It's like, I forget exactly what the details are, but that's kind of a great example. But that's one thing that I've been kind of working with an actual real estate agent that kind of has been working really, really good for them. So hopefully that tip kind of helps out a little bit, if that makes sense for your market.
So just to reiterate what I just heard, for that /JV with us
Sure.
page that I created, which basically is saying, how you can benefit of doing whatever, instead of that, well, having that, but doing a piece of material, what's it called? I can't remember. My mind's going blank right now. That's the same thing that Elizabeth and Marie did.
Lead magnet.
Lead magnet. Thank you. Do a lead magnet for them that shows them how to do joint ventures and the best way to do that, and then build content around that. Put that onto this page that leads them further on. Is that correct?
Correct. Almost like a course. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Okay,
Cool.
I have a question, Roger. So related to, if we want our niche to be like, we buy rental houses instead of just saying we buy houses, is that something that we would want to change on our location pages, or do we kind of want a separate landing page for that niche?
So that's a real interesting one, because I think in your particular, and this is one of those that would require kind of, and it doesn't for you guys, I can actually answer it here, but for someone else, depending on the market, right? For you guys, I would actually recommend that we start getting into very specific pages for that. Just your market is that competitive, and I think there's opportunity if you really, really niche down to that, because now you can create a very specific lead magnet, certain value adds on the page that are just for that person. Right, that type of industry.
Along those same lines, one of the things that separates us that we wanted to start marketing was how we acquire, as an alternative to cash, how we acquire real estate through creative finance via subject to or seller financing. Would we want to do a separate page, a niche page for that too, or do we incorporate that into the main content of our page?
It's USP again.
Rather than just buying houses cash, we buy them two ways. One is via cash, and the other one is via creative finance if they're open to terms.
So first challenge I would give you. I love it. I love the USP behind that. I would challenge you to simplify that down to where it just kind of comes off the tongue comfortably. And I'm sure Roger's going to add to this, but I would incorporate that line into every form of marketing targeting that type of individual.
Okay. Because right now our VA is doing the cold calls, and that's one of the things we have them ask is if they're open to terms, and then go from there. And then our acquisitions managers give the details on that. But I just wanted to make sure that that gets into our site and gets into the other places.
Yep. Man, it would, yeah, I'm thinking independent, because I mean, your VA can literally provide an email or just guide them. If it's a specific situation, now you got a specific page that can speak to them. So it's a tool. It's basically a tool that they'll be using. So I would probably lean towards the side of creating another page specifically for that. And once again, just like Liz and Marie, you can then see what else you can add. So it can it's not just a landing page, create it into an SEO page, right? Add as much content, as much value to that page. So not only are you using it as a tool, but it's also having an opportunity to rank on Google.
Great, thanks.